Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dale Center NASCAR betting here on YouTube. I'm Dale Tanhart, and thanks to everybody that said hello down in Daytona Beach, Florida for the Daytona 500 weekend. I had a great time. Hope you did as well. And even if you were watching from home, I hope you enjoyed the weekend. Sunday, that was the race of all time, wasn't it? But trucks, Xfinity were fun. Just wish we could finish a damn race under green flag circumstances, right? Without controversy. There's a lot they got to work on with Daytona, but now we move to Atlanta. Ambetter Health 400 weekend for the NASCAR Cup Series. I'm talking Xfinity, trucks, and Cup. I'm going to talk about some Cup qualifying bets as well, potentially. I'm kind of on the border on that. Bottom of your screen, lines courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook. Doesn't mean they're the best lines, but they are the lines that I use because it's easy to use their interface and import everything or export. So let's get right into it. Atlanta Motor Speedway. Remember, this is a drafting track. Ever since spring of 2022, configuration has changed, and now it's like a mini Daytona, mini Talladega. And ironically, it is kind of taken the narrative as the best super speedway after what we saw last spring with the 3-wide finish between Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and winner Daniel Suarez. So we come to Atlanta. It's exciting, and it's actually a good race to go to as well. You can see the full track. You get the effect of pack racing. It's interesting because when they announced this, if you're a traditionalist in the NASCAR, the motorsports realm, you hated the announcement, hated it. But I was there. I was at that 2021 race, the final one before the reconfig, and I think it was the Kurt Busch win over Kyle Busch. Lap traffic, Ross Chastain got in the way, helping his Ganassi teammate. I think that was the last one. Anyway, I was there for that. There was nobody there. No one was there. There was no energy at all. And then you come around 2022, and the track definitely felt revitalized. There's no question about it. And I went again last year, revitalized. Energy was extremely strong. And I guess it's because it has become our marquee drafting race. Talladega is brutal right now. Daytona has its problems. Typically, Atlanta has kind of showcased as fans what we'd want to see in a super speedway race, especially with handling being a factor. The track is wearing. You have more driver challenges than you do at Daytona and Talladega. So I think there is a respect there that is kind of growing amongst the fan base. And to potential new fans, I think you would enjoy it as well, whether you're watching on TV or watching in person. It's a good time if you go. But what does that have to do with betting? Well, if you saw me on Out of the Groove with Eric Estep earlier this week, thanks for watching. Also, I've read some of the comments. I'm fully aware. I don't know why. My webcam is fantastic. I mean, you see the quality's there now. But whenever I do a Zoom, my webcam, it just is garbage. I don't get it. It's really frustrating. Really annoying, actually, the problems I was having when I went on with Eric on Out of the Groove. And we had a great conversation about a lot of what I've already talked about, touch base on. And from a betting standpoint, you come to respect it more as well because the predictability is slightly better. I mean, the winners list gives you enough of that already. Daniel Suarez is like the outlier, if you will, in how good he's been at Atlanta since the reconfiguration. Like, super good. 5 top 10s and 6 starts, like 3 top 3s in that win last year. He's been phenomenal. But the point there more so is about the winners list not being so all over the place. Daytona 500, you've got Cindric, Stenhouse, McDowell. It just seems like it's more of a crapshoot. I hate that term. It's cliche-ish when you talk about super speedways, but it is true. It's more of a crapshoot. Talladega, kind of same thing. Atlanta, however, you've had more Team Penske Ford dominance actually play out at the end of the race. You've actually had Fords like Joey Logano win a couple races, Keselowski there at the end, Blaney there at the end, Cindric there at the end. The guys that lead a lot of the laps are less likely to be swept up in some nonsense type of wreck like we saw multiple times at Daytona last week. So Atlanta has become, in my mind, more respectable. So let's dive into the bets here. We're going to talk trucks first. Do not freak out if you're new here. If you're new to the betting scene, I get a lot of questions like, whoa, why are odds off the board? Where are they? Why can't I find trucks anywhere? If that is happening, it is because a practice or qualifying session has begun, and or odds are getting ready to come back up after the session is over with. So by the time you see this, you might have this problem, because I'm recording this before truck qualifying is getting started. Now, there's no practice this week. Next week, we go to Circuit of the Americas, which is a road course down in Austin, Texas. The dynamic is going to be totally different on how we look at lines and where we go. So getting that out of the way, just getting in front of that, it's going to look a lot different on how often I'm posting bets on my Dub Club, how often we're talking about line movements, because there's more substantial data to be consumed as the weekend progresses. So when we talk about Atlanta, it's a lot like Daytona in terms of who just wrecked behind me. What are we doing? Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. What the fuck just happened? All right, that's better. Anywho, I don't want my nice screen to be messed up because some AI decided to junk it in turn 3 or whatever just happened. Probably like ran out of gas or some stupid shit like that. Anyway, enough with the distractions. Let me tell you what I like and what I already have for the weekend. Ambetter Health 400 weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm starting with trucks. I'm going to tell you right now, it's time for our first bold prediction of the entire year. Well, we've had a few predictions, but Grant Enfinger is going to win this race on Saturday afternoon. 11-1 over on FanDuel. You know, we'll see what happens in qualifying. It's been kind of a mixed bag on these Chevy teams on where they're qualifying and who's fast, who isn't. Spire was really bad last week in qualifying. I expected them to qualify up front. I don't know. Qualifying is going to be interesting, and what's going to be even more interesting is how the books, relative to Daytona, how the books actually account how important it is where you're starting for this race, given some of the circumstances we've already talked about with this particular track and how it compares. But Grant Enfinger is going to win. This is a Grant Enfinger weekend. The guy is a fantastic drafting track guy. He's always got good race trucks. He's got good funding. He has turned around this number 9 team that started this operation as essentially a back marker in the Craftsman Truck Series. And whatever he's brought there with his driver talent, funding, you know, the equipment has certainly improved, and he has proven that he can come out here and win. He can come out here and run top 5. So Grant Enfinger is my favorite play. I love Grant Enfinger to win the truck race. 11-1 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Hopefully you won't get a lot of movement there, but I love Grant tomorrow. Daniel Hemrick, I got 13-1. I would bet Hemrick 12-1 or better. I think you'll be able to find that. Now, here's the problem here. If Hemrick goes into qualifying and puts down a blazing lap, which is absolutely possible, because when you look at the last few years here, the dominant team, you know, Corey Heim got a win in 2022. He's been good here. Tricon's fine. Corey Heim is a super talent. But McAnally has had phenomenal race trucks since 2023. Christian Eckes had a rocket ship. Led a lot, had some kind of issue. I don't know if it was a penalty or if he was involved in a wreck. Went to the back, drove all the way back through the front, through the field, won the race. Tyler Ankrum had a great truck here last year, led the most laps. They've had the speed, they've had the handling, and Daniel Hemrick has the experience. I'm not a great believer in Daniel Hemrick's talent abilities. Don't be surprised if he has like a pit road speeding penalty or something stupid that takes him out. But I think with the quality of that race team and that truck, you should bet on Daniel Hemrick. I'd go 12-1 or higher for Daniel Hemrick in the number 19. Ben Rhodes. You know, for whatever reason, I didn't bet on him last week. I'm a big Ben Rhodes guy at drafting tracks. He ran second here in 2022. He's had other strong runs where I think either last year or the year before cut down a tire, trying to get back up into the mix after being involved in a wreck. Ben Rhodes is kind of in that Grant Enfinger conversation. He's a trucker. The guy's a lifelong truck series guy. He's won championships. He's won plenty of races. And he's a fantastic drafting track guy. So Ben Rhodes, I got 14-1 on FanDuel. I think you'll be able to see that line, something close to it, before we hit the green flag on Saturday afternoon. So give me Ben Rhodes. I'd go 12-1 or better for Ben Rhodes as well. I'm going to go Caden Honeycutt. Nice Motorsports has brought some good trucks to this race. Bailey Curry back in 2023 had a top 5 finish on a part-time schedule. I think they ran P6 last year with the number 45 truck. Nice is capable of having fast race trucks. I know Caden Honeycutt wrecked last week at Daytona. He was leading when he wrecked, I believe, actually, or he was close to the front when he had an aero issue off of turn 4 that it seemed like multiple guys throughout the weekend were having. But Caden Honeycutt is a talent. The guy is full-time now for a reason, because he's proven himself. He won the Snowball Derby into last year. I'm a strong believer in his talent, ability, and I'm a believer in that truck being good enough to warrant a 24-1 bet over on FanDuel Sportsbook. Hoping you get 20-1 or better. I'd take it for Caden Honeycutt. Dude's hungry, dude's talented, and the trucks are good. So give me Honeycutt in the 45. And then I'll give you 2 little long shot underdogs. Tanner Gray was in position to win the race at Daytona last week. You know, Tanner has been in the truck series for a few years now, hasn't gotten a win. He's been close on the super speedways, typically qualifies well. Regardless if he qualifies well or not, 65-1. I think you'll be able to find that after qualifying. I got it on FanDuel. Small unit play, you know, $5 here, $10, whatever. I'd go Tanner Gray, 65-1, typically in a good truck, typically pretty fast. Just a matter of, does he make a mistake at the end? So Tanner Gray, and then I'll go Jake Garcia. You know, on just about every super speedway betting card video you'll see from me, you're gonna have like a gut play. You're gonna have like a gut play. You know, last week, you know, Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs were kind of like my gut play guys. Christopher Bell put himself in position to win the Daytona 500 and got wrecked while leading on the top lane. Ty Gibbs is a non-factor. Jake Garcia is kind of that gut play for me this week. He is in a ThorSport truck. They've got speed. They've got enough to handle a track like Atlanta. I think Jake Garcia is a dude that I believe in his talent abilities, kind of like Caden Honeycutt. Not there yet, but Jake Garcia, when he was with McAnally in the number 35 truck, had several strong runs with that team, which you would say now that maybe going to ThorSport could be a slight downgrade, but you know, they've got good enough trucks where they can find their way to the front at a track like Atlanta. So Jake Garcia, I'm going to go 65-1, small bet, kind of a gut play. And then top three plays for trucks. I'm going to go Bailey Curry, 12-1. These are all on Bet Rivers, by the way. So Canby books, Bet Rivers, Bally, whatever else has Canby odds. Tanner Gray, 15-1. I mean, the dude was literally running third on the white flag of Daytona last week and spun in turn 3 before the caution came out. 15-1 Tanner Gray is a good bet. And then Jake Garcia, 15-1 top 3 as well. For my exact unit allocations, all you got to do, click the link in bio to go to dubclub.win. Thanks to everybody who subscribed. We've had a bunch of subscribers over the past couple weeks. I've teamed up with Dub Club for all of 2025 to deliver winning NASCAR bets. And hopefully they don't get disqualified in post-race inspection. That'd be great. Otherwise, we would have had a big week last week. So regardless, I'm here to win. You are too, obviously. That's why you're watching the video. And I'm very confident in my truck card. Now, one note. I would like to bet on Kyle Busch, potentially. But I can't do 2.5-1. I can't do 3-1. You know, I don't think that's fair at all. I think we're talking 4-1, 5-1 range for a track like this with no practice. I know he won the race last year. He led 30-something laps. I just can't do 2.5-1, 3-1. I can't do it. Cannot do it. So I'm gonna wait, see what happens in qualifying. Maybe we get a better line on Kyle Busch. Maybe if you've got some sort of profit boost available that helps you move his line up a little bit. Maybe you take that on Kyle Busch, but I can't do it at 2.5-1. Best line I saw, FanDuel plus 280. So we're gonna think about Kyle Busch. We're gonna think about it. You know, and if you subscribe to Dub Club, follow the betting cards, you'll see tomorrow morning whether or not I'm betting on KFB. It's unfortunate because it has to be a big unit play. You know, I've got about 5 units on the line, so. if I bet on Kyle Busch, got to put the house on it to ensure a profit if he wins and everything else loses. So it's a difficult deal when KFB hops in the Truck Series. It's even more difficult when he hops in the Truck Series on a drafting track, right? Because of the variance that we could see relative to an intermediate, a road course, a short track. I'm sure he's hopping in. I think the next 4 races he's doing are going to be road courses, intermediate, short, technical racetracks, basically. So, TBD on Kyle Busch, but that's what I got for trucks. Let's move on to Xfinity, which I have nothing on the line yet. At this time, I don't have anything. Once again, subscribe to Dub Club. You'll get up to the date messages. You'll get pinged on whenever I place bets. Because whenever I'm done placing my bets, first thing I do, send it to Dub Club. So I've hundreds of subscribers see it. It's extremely cheap to sign up. I think you can do a free trial, cancel if everything loses. I don't care. But if you want to see the full unit allocation up to date, when they come out, bets, dubclub.win, link below. That's the final plug I'll give for that. But you look at Xfinity, I just kind of want to look at what and evaluate what we're looking at. Evaluate what is out there for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And you've got a similar situation to trucks with Austin Hill. Kyle Busch, different situation because Kyle Busch is a Cup guy hopping down. Similar in how they're priced. Best line I see for Austin Hill, who had easily the best car at Daytona, and then he blew up, is plus 320 over on FanDuel. Jesse Love, who I told you guys to bet on last week, best line I've seen is also FanDuel, plus 650. I'm going to check. Hold on. Let me check Camby real quick, see if there's any changes. But Jesse Love's going to be around 6-1 just about everywhere, just like last week. Yep, 6-1 on Camby. So you've got another dilemma here on how you want to approach Atlanta, because Austin Hill, in 6 races with the new configuration, has won 4 of the 6 races. The other 2 races were won by Ty Gibbs and John Hunter Nemechek. Austin Hill has won the other 4. And I'm pretty sure one of them he ran out of gas on a restart or some shit. So while leading or running up front. So when it comes to the dynamic that Atlanta brings here, Xfinity has been honestly the worst car for this racetrack. Trucks have been kind of exciting. Cup has been fantastic. Xfinity has been more of a snoozer. Typically at the end, you get a lot of single file racing, waiting. You'll see packs break up. You'll see some of the mid lower tier cars. They just don't keep up on handling as well as your Gibbs, your Junior Motorsports, your RCR. They kind of break away towards the end if you don't get a bunch of cautions, basically, if you get long green flag runs. So where would I go on this? I told you guys my prediction for trucks. I think Grant Enfinger's going to win. For Xfinity, yeah, I think Austin Hill wins. I didn't feel this way last week. He blew up. Our gut play was correct. But I think this week, the amount of speed they brought in that number 21 car last week was ridiculous. And now you come to Atlanta where they're going to qualify up front again. They're going to have the fastest cars. Handling's a factor. They seem to handle fine too. I've seen him get wrecked and have damn foil on the front of his car and just drive straight to the front and win. Austin Hill, I think he's going to win this tomorrow. I'm probably going to bet that 3-1 or plus 320 on FanDuel. But I got that out of the way. Let's talk about what else we could like. I'm sticking with the theme of Ford like we did last week. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but shoulda bet the top 3, top 5 and a couple of those guys, because I told you guys here in Dale Center, the Fords were going to be good at Daytona. They were going to have their best shot to win in a long time. Cindric won at Daytona, I think, in 2021, which was a shocker when you consider the RCR Chevy domination. Junior Motorsports has gotten some wins there too. But when we talk about this weekend in particular, I have the same mindset as I did in Daytona. I'm going to be betting on Sheldon Creed, who will not win a race this year. Remember the reverse jinx. I'm going to bet on Sam Mayer. I don't get the Sam Mayer hate. He was 17-1, 18-1 on most books last week. Same price. The guy finished second at Daytona. Now, the only thing that has changed with Mayer, and particularly, or just with top threes. Top three, Sam Mayer was around 7-1 last week. I thought about it. I stared at it. I almost did it. I decided just to stick with the outrights. Mayer's now, I think the best top three line I've seen is plus 550 on BetMGM. So that has been adjusted a little bit. But I'm sticking with the Fords, man. I'm sticking with the Fords. If you want a spicy top three, go Harrison Burton. The guy was absolutely a factor last week. He was running up front. The car was clearly good. He had damage, and he still made his way back to the front. Finished P6. Creed finished P3. Mayer P2. The Fords were good. And Ryan Sieg, who's typically a factor, you know, I expect him to be good this weekend too. And I think he got wrecked last week a couple times. But the Fords were good, is my point. The Fords have their best fleet of drivers when it comes to super speedway drafting tracks that maybe they've ever had in Xfinity since we've come to Atlanta, and we've had the triangle of drafting tracks now. So I'm probably going to bet on all three of those guys. Maybe 4 with Ryan Sieg. Ryan Sieg is around 25-1, which is typical. 30-1 on FanDuel. Look, I'm telling you guys, FanDuel is fantastic. They are late, and they're not fantastic from the standpoint of getting lines out quickly. But I've encouraged people in our Discord, like, wait, don't hammer anything just yet, because FanDuel always has some sort of discrepancy that just pops out if you've been evaluating other sports books. So Ryan Sieg 30-1 on FanDuel, 25-1 everywhere else. 28-1 on DraftKings is good too. He's 8-1 for a top three on DraftKings. That's a good line over on DK. Harrison Burton for a top three is 6-1 on DraftKings, and he is plus 725 on BetMGM. Love those. Maybe here's just a strategy here. You don't want to bet on outright because you're like, man, Austin Hill's going to ruin this for everybody. Like, just bet on Harrison Burton and Ryan Sieg for a top three. Hell, add Sam Mayer to it, plus 550. Bet all three of those guys for a top three. One of them hits, you're destined to profit if you don't do anything stupid with how you allocate your money. So I think that's a strategy. I'm telling you, Ford is going to be in the conversation. Ford has sucked here over the years. They have been a non-factor. I think Cole Custer had a top three here back in 2023, maybe. Someone can fact check me on that. But this program is in a much better spot with the driver talent that they have on drafting tracks. Take the Fords. Do something between those four guys. Burton, Mayer, Creed, and Sieg. I'm guaranteeing right now that at least 2 of those guys will be in the conversation for the win. So, I'm talking about the top 3 and the top 5, depending on the Austin Hill situation in your mind. But Harrison Burton, 25-1 on BetMGM. I'm scrolling back and forth here, so bear with me. DraftKings not good. Bet Rivers, which is Canby, 22-1. FanDuel for Harrison Burton, 22-1. So your best line available for Harrison Burton is 25-1 on FanDuel Sportsbook. And then the top 3, DraftKings is the best top 3 at 8-1. That's going to be on my card. No question. No question about it. So I'm big on the Fords again, but there's one Toyota you've got to consider in all of this, right? I love Mayer, I love Creed, I love Burton, maybe Sieg, probably betting on Austin Hill, unfortunately. But we got to talk about Eric Almirola. This is part of the reason Joe Gibbs brought him in. Chevy has just dominated, for the most part, these super speedway drafting track races over the years. You bring in a guy like Eric Almirola, and he's an immediate factor in the draft. He's an immediate factor everywhere. We've seen him win on technical racetracks. He almost won Indianapolis, which basically was a stupid... The finish was great, but Riley Herbst won that race, and it was a terrible drafting package that I don't ever want them to run again. But Eric Almirola came to Joe Gibbs. He was brought to Joe Gibbs Racing for this reason, to beat these guys and take a little bit of Toyota back to the top on tracks that maybe they typically don't win at. So Eric Almirola, best price 8-1 over on BetMGM. That will for sure be on my betting card. No question about it. I'd like to lock that in before Xfinity hits racetrack, which is in... Trucks have started on qualifying. Xfinity. (4:05 p.m. Central Time, so 5 p.m. Eastern. So maybe you'll have a little bit of time after you see this, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of drastic line movement anywhere, just because of the RCR bias with Austin Hill and Jesse Love. I expect them to qualify up front. Maybe their lines get worse. Maybe nothing changes at all. So that's kind of where I'm at right now on the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And everybody likes an underdog. I think if you want to lean underdog, you know, the way this track has worn, you know, has made handling more of a factor, and that hurts the smaller teams. It makes it less and less of an equalizer for your smaller teams to catch back up. But if I had to go with some underdogs, if I had to, and I might. Leland Honeyman. I'm probably going to go back on Leland Honeyman. I had him on my card last week, and if you go back and watch that race, he ran around the top 10 super, super often. The guy has finished second at Talladega before in Alpha Prime equipment, or Young Motorsports equipment. That's what Alfredo's in now. That Cope family racing team, man. You know, I know they've got ECR power. They've leased their cars from Richard Childress, supposedly. But they had speed last week. I mean, legit speed in that number 70. No question about it. Leland Honeyman, for a top 3, is around 40-1, 50-1 range. And for a top 5, around 18-1 range. That's on BetMGM. DraftKings for a top 5 on Leland Honeyman Jr., 18-1 as well. And then Bet Rivers can't ever get top 5s through Xfinity. So I think if you want to lean to an underdog, Leland Honeyman and maybe DGM. So the Mario Gosselin cars. I'll tell you guys here. I'll look at the entry list. Don't do CJ McLaughlin. He's in a DGM car. That guy is just awful. He's just not good. He's fucking terrible. Respectfully, of course. That guy has wrecked a lot of race cars. I would never bet on him. He'll probably find a way to prove me wrong this weekend. But DGM, Josh Bilicki was having a respectable run, top 15-ish last week. He's got a lot of experience. Got run over by Chris Wright on the generational ARCA break on pit road. Ruined his race. Ryan Ellis in the 71 car, DGM. They were fast last week. They had some speed. Let's just hope that they can bring some speed back with those DGM cars to Atlanta. Handling's going to be a factor, but you know, if you're going to bet on those guys, you're going to be rooting for a little bit of carnage. You know, Ryan Ellis, 30-1 for a top 5. Josh Bilicki, 30-1 for a top 5. You know, I've got a little bit more confidence in their equipment after what we saw last week. So, you know, if you had to lean underdogs, let's go DGM and Leland Honeyman. So Leland Honeyman, Josh Bilicki, Ryan Ellis. 3 top 5 long shots. Good for me. Brennan Poole, maybe. He's around 12-1. He had a bad week last week. He's typically a good drafting track guy. Alpha Prime equipment, you know, you could throw him in that conversation as well. And you could see it on my betting card, you know, TBD. But that's kind of what I like for Xfinity. I think we should move on to the NASCAR Cup Series Ambetter Health 400. Now, let's talk about qualifying real quick. I am in a personal dilemma if I want to even bet on this. Qualifying, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. Joey Logano's a favorite. Blaney's a co-favorite. And then Cindric is the co-favorite. It's probably going to be a Penske pole. So part of me literally wants to just throw the house on those 3 guys, add Todd Gilliland, and add Ryan Preece. That's what I want to do so bad. You know, unit and a half on Logano, unit and a half on Blaney, unit and a half on Cindric, and then maybe 3/4 of a unit on Gilliland, half a unit on Ryan Preece, or 3/4 of a unit on Preece. I think that the math would have to work out to generate a profit. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I think one of those 5 guys wins the pole tomorrow. I don't see another way. I don't see another way. But qualifying at these super speedways can be risky if you don't have a clear-cut guy. And with Chase Briscoe winning the pole by a mile last week, and then we realized he was fucking cheating, you know, who's the next guy up? It's got to be Team Penske, right? You know, Cindric qualified second. Cindric has been lights out in qualifying top 3, top 5 on repeat at these drafting tracks. So I'll say that one more time. I haven't decided if I'm going to bet this, but if I did bet, my mind's already made up on what I would plug. Logano, Blaney, Cindric, Gilliland, Priest. There's just no doubt in my mind that one of those 5 is going to win the pole. Now, let me help you find the best odds. Does DraftKings have qualifying up? Probably not. No. But if you want to find qualifying odds, BetRivers has qualifying. BetMGM has qualifying. Caesars probably has qualifying. I don't use Caesars anymore. Don't know about Hard Rock. I really don't want to use Hard Rock anymore because I'm so disgusted in them, you know, my Parker Kligerman ticket losing after he got DQ'd. Still pisses me off. But if you're in Florida, that's all you can use. Joey Logano's plus 550 on BetMGM. That's the best line between these two books. Blaney is plus 600 on both books. Cindric is plus 650 on BetRivers. Those are your 3 best lines. Todd Gilliland, 11-1 on BetMGM versus 10-1 on BetRivers. Take it there. Ryan Priest, 14-1 on BetMGM versus 12-1 on BetRivers. So take it on BetMGM. There you go. That's what I got. That is what I like. Maybe if you're feeling frisky, throw Zane Smith. He had a pretty, I think out of the front row guys, he may have been the fastest in qualifying last week for the 500. So maybe throw Zane Smith in there. He is 16-1 on BetMGM and 14-1 on BetRivers. So maybe you consider Zane Smith. If you want to go that route, small play, small unit count. So that's what I think. I think one of those 5 guys I mentioned is going to win the pole. Now we move to the Cup race. I guess since I've done a quick prediction on Xfinity and trucks, Ryan Blaney is going to win on Sunday. So if you want the Dale Earnhardt parlay, I might tweet this out. Actually, we'll see. These never fucking win. It is just free money to the sportsbook. But Grant Enfinger, Austin Hill, Ryan Blaney parlay. See what it adds up to. That's a DT parlay. Maybe we'll trademark it. I don't know. But I think Blaney, the amount of laps he leads, the driver IQ, the perfect balance of aggression and smarts, like this guy is so due for a drafting track win. I mean, so due. And I know that is like the betting, it's the betting cliche of degenerates is saying he's due. I get it. But he is. He absolutely is. How many times does Ryan Blaney get wrecked while running up front and the wreck's got nothing to do with him? It's always some slapdick to his right or behind him that causes the wreck, like Joey Logano. Joey Lame Gano. If you're a Logano fan, Lame Gano. He fucked everything up last week. My bets were running first, second, third, and fifth, and Logano killed them all with 15 to go, except for Cindric. But my point here is Ryan Blaney, the amount of time he spends up front, battling for stage wins. He's such a good teammate, too. He's pushing Joey Logano to win at Atlanta last year. When is it going to be his turn? Sunday afternoon. It's Ryan Blaney's turn. Give me Ryan Blaney. Best line available right now. We've seen some big movements since I bet it. I got 10-1. I saw somebody open at 11-1. God, he's 8-1 everywhere. Holy shit. 8-1, 9-1, 9-1. At this point, I'd just wait for qualifying. I don't know. FanDuel's got plus 950. I'd take that. Yeah. If you see this before qualifying, take the plus 950. I don't think you're going to see I just don't know. I just don't know. That has to be a number based upon volume, because him and Joey were both in 4-figure range at the beginning of the week on more than one sports book. Now, Blaney, 8-1, 8.5-1, 9-1. Logano's right there with him, 9-1. Logano's 10-1 on BetMGM. So if you want to go Joey, there you go. There's your one book that still got him at a 4-figure number. So I'm all in on Ryan Blaney. I'm also sticking with Brad Keselowski. I'm not going to lie. The Penske bias makes this a hotter bet because Brad has been fantastic at Atlanta. He should have won both races in 2023. Gave up the win to Logano. He gave up the top lane on the white flag. Still can't believe he did that. After leading and dominating, gave that one up just foolishly. And then fall of 2023 had the best car by far, dominated, range shortened after a cycle of pit stops, couldn't get back to the front in time. Guess who? Right place, right time. William Byron won that one. So, Brad Keselowski now, who was, typically at Atlanta, 12-1, 11-1, 10-1 range with the Penske guys. I got 16-1, and he is, I can't believe what I'm seeing. He is 20-1 on FanDuel. What? 20-1 on FanDuel. He was 17-1 the other day. I swear on my life, he was 17-1. And now as I'm reloading, it's like it's changed before my eyes. Okay, whatever. 20-1 on FanDuel. You've got to bet on Brad. He's going to be a factor. That's insane to me. That is insane to me. I guess, I don't know. I don't know what kind of stock they're taking from his tough Daytona 500 run, but dude, you got to take Brad Keselowski. The guy's been fantastic here. He's led a bunch of laps. He's battled for wins. 20-1 is insane. They've got Alex Bowman ahead of him. Well, no, he's also 20-1. Kyle Larson, 14-1. That's shocking. That is shocking. Okay, a few more bets I like. Daniel Suarez, 25-1. I think I mentioned earlier in the show, 5 for 6 on finishing in the top 10. 1 win, I think 3 top 3s. The guy's been fantastic here. Teammate Ross Chastain, 26-1. I'd bet that all day. All day. Ross opened at 30-1 over on BetMGM, so he's come down a little bit, but I like the Trackhouse guys. They have just done well here. Ross is a guy that has had good runs at a lot of these different drafting tracks, whether it's Atlanta, Daytona, Dega, just hasn't gotten the finish. Perfect example, Daytona 500 last year, battling for the win, spins coming to the white flag. Atlanta last year, fall Atlanta, pushing Daniel Suarez on the top lane, gets wrecked, basically running up around the top 5 and winning contention. So Chastain is a good, underrated super speedway guy that I think people are sleeping on. If there's a spoiler at hand here, it's Ross Chastain. A few other guys I like. Corey LaJoie had a fantastic Daytona 500 run. I mean, he proved that he's still got the mindset to run up front at these drafting tracks. He proved that the car is good. Rick Ware has got him some horses. I mean, they were fine on speed. They're running up there with everybody. Now, handling's going to play more of a factor, but, Corey has also been a guy that has run super well at Atlanta Motor Speedway since the reconfiguration, most notably fall of 2022 when he went for the lead on the white flag and Elliott kind of blocked him. He got up in the marbles, spun out. Corey's been good here. I think looking at Corey LaJoie, 55-1, 60-1 range is absolutely worth a bet. And I think the best line I've seen is 55-1. 55-1 on FanDuel or maybe BetMGM or DraftKings. Regardless, you're not gonna see like a big difference there. I think Corey LaJoie, 60-1 on Canby, 60-1 on Bet Rivers. Actually, that's gonna be on my card. I think it's worth a sprinkle. Maybe an underdog top 4 play, underdog top 5 play. You know, DraftKings right now has a top 5 for Corey LaJoie at plus 650. I think it's a little high. Let me see what Bet Rivers has since they have the best outright. Nice voice crack there. LaJoie for top 5 plus 850. Bet Rivers, not bad. For the Cup race on BetMGM, Corey LaJoie 6-1. So taking on Bet Rivers if you like the top 5. Top Ford. Yeah, that just feels like such a long shot with Team Penske, right? Top Ford 22-1. You know, maybe you never know. Maybe Penske gets screwed on a green flag pit stop cycle. They have penalties. They get swept up in one accident. You never know what can happen in a race like this. So Penske is juiced. I mean, I even look at Brad Keselowski top Ford plus 650. That sticks out to me. Anybody else? BetMGM, what do we got? Plus 575. Not as good. Nor for Corey LaJoie on that one either. Okay, so that's what I like. And then, you know what's caught my eye as we've been looking, like as we've been recording? Austin Dillon 75-1 outright? Man, I mean, I don't forget the stat book. Forget the overall stats if we're talking about Atlanta. Austin Dillon is a good enough super speedway racer, and there's enough that's happened where, you know, Byron's won here twice and Elliott's won here. Hendrick's been good. There's enough that can happen to warrant some sort of action on Austin Dillon. 25-1 top Chevy over on DraftKings could be worth a play. 22-1 on BetMGM. What is Ross Chastain top Chevy? Plus 850. He's plus 900 on BetMGM. You know, I wouldn't mind working some underdog top Chevy plays. You know, the books like Kyle Busch to be the top Chevy. And then you got Elliott, Byron, Larson. Once I just... Have we seen enough to warrant Kyle Larson being where he's at? I don't know. So maybe some top Chevy lines. You know, Chastain, Suarez, both 8-1, 9-1 range. Add an Austin Dillon there at 25-1. That could be a good little card too. So that could be on my betting card before Sunday. Keep an eye on that. But I'll go and tell you for certain. You know, 4 drivers that there are and or will be outright plays on. Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Ross Chastain, and Corey LaJoie. If you want 4 guys here, that's what I'm looking at. You know, we're in a debate right now on Austin Cindric, who I really would like to bet for a stage win if I can find a book that's offering it in time on Sunday morning. You know, so Austin Cindric's going to be in the conversation. I think he's going to lead laps. You know, I like the idea of taking Team Penske to win stages depending on the prices. But, you know, everybody else, you know, Kyle Busch is a guy I bet on for the Daytona 500. I've been betting on a lot on super speedways, drafting tracks. You know, am I going to have him in my card? I'm just not sure yet. You know, we've got to build this. And, it's definitely tough because you can make an argument for 12 guys. You know, I had 10 outrights for the Daytona 500. I can guarantee you I'm not going to have 10 outrights for Atlanta this weekend because it's a little bit more predictable where, you know, I feel like you don't feel like you have to have that many. Don't feel like you have to have that many for Atlanta relative to Daytona or Talladega. So that's what I've got so far. You know, I'm trying to throw in some of these leans here, like even top Toyota. You know, top Toyota, I like taking some of the dogs. Eric Jones is always, for top Toyota, around 10-1 range. You know, Legacy had a great week last week. I mean, a fantastic week. John Hunter Nemechek, top Toyota, is 25-1. He finished 5th in the Daytona 500. Maybe you take both Legacy Motor Club cars, top Toyota, and then throw in, I don't know, a Bell or a Bubba Wallace in there too. You get 3 Toyotas, all decent prices. I mean, that could be your full betting card. You know, you get a Bubba top Toyota plus 550, Jones 12-1, Nemechek 25-1. One of those hits, you're going to profit. So at the drafting tracks, I really like messing around with top Toyota a lot because it's just a strength in numbers thing, man. You get one wreck, it could take out half of the Toyota field. And you get a little bit lucky, maybe the half that they take out are the guys that you're betting against. So, you know, I always consider top Toyota in this category too. If I could get a Christopher Bell 5-1 top Toyota, which he's plus 425, plus 450 range. If I could get a Bell top Toyota at 5-1, I'd probably pair that with Jones and Nemechek at their prices. Hell, it's crazy. You could bet 4 of these guys and have a legitimate chance to profit. And, you know, the main thing is you just can't have Denny Hamlin be the top Toyota. He's the guy you need to fail before everybody else. But definitely a wide open category that I like to explore, and we'll have more. Remember, I said I wouldn't plug it again, but I have to. For all of my bets, which I'm going to have some free bets. I don't know if it's going to be Xfinity yet or if it's going to be... I've already done some truck bets behind the paywall. Maybe it'll be Xfinity this weekend, maybe Cup qualifying. I'll have some free bets. I'll post them on X, Instagram, and in the Dale Center NASCAR Discord. But everything else, dubclub.win. Click that link. It's super cheap. You can do a free trial. Check that out for most, if not all, of my NASCAR bets for the 2025 season. Guys, I could ramble on and on about this shit for 4 hours, but I'm not going to. And you hear my voice starting to go away. I got to run Bathurst, the 12-hour race coming up on iRacing this weekend. Going to be some good content I got coming out. We're going to do live stream watch parties over on Kick, which is where the iRacing streams are. We're doing watch parties for ATL as well this weekend. So it's going to be a very fun weekend of racing. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you ever have any betting questions too, ask me in the Discord. You can ask me on X. So X will take a little bit longer for me to reply because I'm not on it all the time. But feel free to reach out and feel free to join the Dale Center NASCAR Discord. Another link below here on YouTube. So thank you guys for watching. Hope we have a profitable weekend for ATL and hope you guys enjoy the races. And I'll see you guys next week as we preview the Circuit of the Americas for the NASCAR Cup Series. Xfinity and trucks, I think, are there again too. Maybe not trucks. Maybe Cup and Xfinity. Either way, we'll see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.